Good evening. I'm Sheldon Neeley, and I serve as mayor of the City of Flint, one of the greatest communities on the face of the earth. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for joining us, and I also want to take time to thank God for this opportunity to address you as your mayor. As we talk about the American Rescue Act and this plan of $99 million coming to the City of Flint, can somebody say game changer? This is transformational for our community. For a long time, we have faced budget shortages, budget crisis, without the funding, the appropriate funding to really change the things in our community to make life just a little bit better. Over the last 7 years, we faced a water crisis. As we make our way and transition through these things, we have other challenges. We have a worldwide pandemic. COVID-19 has ravaged our country and our communities. These high-minded dollars coming from legislators and the President Biden can change things for our families. But also, this is a restart for our community. Now, as we go forth, we're going to need your support and your input, but you have to get good information. And to gain that good information, we decided today to make sure that we put some things in front of you as these things move in public circles. And now I want to take this opportunity to introduce our great congressman from the 5th District, Congressman Dan Kildee. Dan?
Hi, I'm Congressman Dan Kildee. Mayor Neeley, thank you for hosting this really important town hall. I'm honored to join you tonight. I just wanted to take a moment to share the exciting resources that are coming to our community as a result of the American Rescue Plan, which I worked on and helped to craft. The American Rescue Plan is going to help Flint families in 4 important ways: to put money in people's pockets, more vaccine shots in arms, more support for small business, and money for our schools and for our local governments. First, we finished the job of getting those $2,000 checks out. This bill provides the additional direct payment of $1,400 a person. Most of you should have gotten this already, adding to the $600 payment sent in December and bringing the total relief to $2,000 a person. We also expanded tax credits for workers and families with children, which will help cut poverty in half. And that child poverty issue is really important to us. So those child tax credits that are going to be paid out are really important. Second, we increased vaccine distribution with a national vaccination program. That includes more community vaccination sites, scaling up testing and tracing, and addressing the shortages of PPE. And I just really want to encourage those of you who are out there who maybe have been reluctant to get that vaccination. Please consider doing it for yourself, but most especially for the people around you. To date, over 200 million vaccines have been given across the country. That's the key for us to getting back to normal. Third, we extended support for small businesses, especially minority-owned businesses. Small businesses have been hit really hard by coronavirus, by this whole pandemic, and they need our continued help. And fourth, I was able to bring home direct support for Flint, and this includes the $99.3 million for the City of Flint, up to $114 million for the Flint schools to get our kids back in the classroom safely, to reduce class size, reimagine our schools. So this federal investment will go a long way to support our local economy and local families. Yes, the American Rescue Plan is a really big bill, a really expensive investment, but it was developed to match the size of the problem and get immediate help to families. I was proud to work on this legislation with President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, and I'll continue to work to pass legislation like this that helps families and communities in our state. Thank you very, very much for allowing me to be a part of this, and I look forward to hearing more about your discussion.
Thank you, Congressman Kildee. Once again, I want to thank the federal delegation who helped support this particular plan, this $1.9 trillion package. This is a game changer. I've said that once before, and this is a live feed from here at City Hall, and this is the first of many dialogues that we're going to be having and engaging in. We want to make sure that you have a good understanding about what is happening and how we're moving, and making sure we have the appropriate level of input to be able to set a standard and a budget. And a budget is nothing more than a snapshot of our priorities. And this is fully a listening session. And this is about listening. Now, we're going to talk about a few things, about some parameters in which we have been given and the things that we're still trying to learn. But also, along with Dan Kildee, Senator Gary Peters, and Senator Debbie Stabenow, equally worked very hard for Michigan to provide what we call the pennies from heaven, making sure that we understand what the dollars are and how we're to move forward. This total funding is $1.9 trillion. That's trillion dollars, $1.9 trillion. And this is the American Rescue Plan. It includes $130 billion for governments like Flint and other places throughout our country, $5 billion for the state of Michigan, $114 million for the Flint public schools, $99 million for the city of Flint, and $77 million for Genesee County. As I once before, I described this as transformational for our area. Other funding, and this is competitive funding, and what I mean by competitive funding is that we have the opportunity to go after grants of that $1.9 trillion in these areas. $46 billion to expand testing and contact tracing for the deadly virus of COVID-19. $14.5 billion for vaccination. $35 billion for rental, mortgage, utility assistance programs, and also expanded health coverages for workforce training, mental health assistance, and much more. And so when we look at the pillars in which we wanted to set our priorities up on, we've heard from you. These are the priorities inside of our community. And so far, we set 5 pillars to stand all of our philosophy on how we're going to be creating opportunities for these dollars. We're not limited to these 5, but this is our starting place. Public safety, blight elimination, job creation, infrastructure, owner-occupied home rental and repairs. And when we look at these pillars, we've heard from the community, and these are the priorities in which we stated so far. So this is the buckets in which we're placing a lot of attention in, but we want to hear more about what you need. Now I'm going to turn it over to our CFO, a great find, a great save for our community in this area, one of the best, if not the best CFO in the state of Michigan, Mrs. Shelby Frazier. Shelby.
Thank you. Good evening. So as the mayor mentioned, these are once-in-a-lifetime dollars that we're going to receive here for the community that have an opportunity to really impact our community in many ways. We've received limited guidance so far, but here's what we know right now. These dollars can go to assist households, small businesses, nonprofits, and industries impacted by COVID-19. They can go to support essential workers, help supplement lost revenue in our budget, along with investing in water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. There were a couple caveats with these dollars that we're not allowed to use them for, and those are for pension and legacy costs, in addition to offsetting any sort of reduction in tax revenue. Right now, we're still waiting on further guidance from the U.S. Treasury. We're still early in the process. We're expecting more information to come the week of May 10th, and the dollars to be received, the first half of the dollars to be received shortly after that.
Now, let's hear from you. Now, we can take our polls, we can take our cues from you as residents of the city of Flint, and this is how you opt in. Take our polls at thecityofflint.com. That's thecityofflint.com. Send or drop off your recommendations at Flint City Hall. Email the input cityofflint.com, or you can call 810-237-2000. That's 810-237-2000. And you'll take this monologue and make it into a dialogue. This is the first of many engagements in which you will have from City Hall to talk about the most important thing that we have on the table right now. Pennies from heaven, $99 million coming to this community, $77 million for Genesee County, $114 million for Flint Public Schools, and many competitive dollars in which we can tap into. This is our opportunity. This is transformational. And so making it, Shelby, into more of a dialogue, as we look at these dollars, this high-minded dollars, what do you think we need to be looking at as we look? We have a budget that's Flint City Council, and now is our opportunity to hear from the residents of the city of Flint. what is one of the things that
I definitely think this opportunity here for the community to weigh in is crucial. As the mayor mentioned here, this input at cityofflint.com, those emails actually come directly to myself. So if you guys have ideas or information that you'd like to share, we encourage folks to email in, as well as if that's not easy for you to access, you're welcome to call in. We'll have a person monitoring the phone line. We won't be returning phone calls, but certainly listening to messages and ideas and input from the community as we receive them. So we're hoping to gather all that information in addition with the poll and bring that back to the public to identify the key areas, as Mayor mentioned, those 5 pillars, to really go through and make sure that we're investing in the areas that the community feels important.
Yeah, and as we talk about this, and we gave you the way to communicate with the city of Flint here, we want to make sure that we take serious ideas from serious individuals about serious issues that we face in this community. Please do not flood our emails or call lines with frivolous type of activities or engagements. This is something that we're working on, and we're working in partnership with our co-equal branch of government, the city council. We want to hear from them as well as it relates to how we're going to be setting the standard for our community moving forward. Our city of Flint has been facing budget challenges, and we have taken on the challenges. The current city budget that we currently have now, I call it a blessed but fragile budget. Thanks to Shelby Freyer and others in the team, we have put the budget together. Last year, we projected a deficit for the 2022 budget year. We were able to fill the gap. That's what sacrifices, a lot of hard work, a lot of determination, and definitely a lot of prayer. Prayer, planning, and partnership has been our philosophy moving us forward. And so these are the budget priorities in which we have presented to council on our budget, our proposed budget before Council Shelby. And this blessed but fragile budget, it protects police and fire staffing levels. That's a blessing. As a former city councilman, I remember the years in which every time we came around to budget years, we looked at budget cuts that affected police and fire officers, our first line defenders. And so it was very challenging as a council person over the years, but this budget protects the staffing levels in that category. We also invested in the charter mandated ombudsman's office. That department has been dormant for about 6 years. When the emergency managers first came in to take over the city of Flint, that department was decimated. It has been recreated, repopulated, and restaffed, and now we're making initial investments into that department. We're investing in our city clerk's office as well. Investment in our city clerk's office protects the greatest American right that we have, and that's the right to participate in the voting. And please remember, we do have a voting coming up very soon. So remember to come down to City Hall. City Hall is open from 9 to 5 for over-the-counter voting, for absentee voting here at City Hall. But make sure you cast your vote, the greatest American right we have. And also we're expanding and investing in the clerk's office. We're investing in the fight on blight. This is everybody's fight. We know our city is precious to us. We must continue to engage in the cleanup efforts of our community, but we must be diligent in not allowing people to treat our homes as garbage cans. We're going to be investing in this very heavily. This is one of the pillars in which we talked about, the fight on blight, and we've been doing a fantastic job. I want to thank those that's in the crews, the blight fighting crews that's been doing great works for us, but it's going to take all of us. If you see people illegally dumping, please report it. You can dial 1-800-422-JAIL, 1-800-422-JAIL to get in the fight on blight. We also are investing in a charter mandated department, a civil service commission. We're working on repopulating and reactivating this charter mandated department. It was also decimated by the emergency management. And so, Shelby, with this budget, I want to thank you personally for coming to the city of Flint with all the experience in which you have. And I know you work for many different municipalities and units of government and school districts and also the state of Michigan. And so when you look at the priorities in which we have set for this community and for our families, the 5 pillars, what do you think about those pillars? And just talk to the people about the priority level at which we set.
I think it's important right now, just based on what I've heard from the community attending council meetings and my interactions here with folks that live here, is that, yes, we know blight's an issue. We know public safety is an issue. But there's a lot of positive things too happening in the city right now that I think we really need to also invest in. For example, job creation and even investing in different areas for businesses, I think is going to be very important. I do want to caution folks because it is $100 million. So everyone gets really excited that we have a lot of money to spend. And that is true. We do have a 5-year period to spend these dollars. And so we want to be really thoughtful about the process and making sure that we're not spending them all right now, potentially on things that are ongoing costs. So for example, giving out a bunch of raises and things that might have a long-term impact might not be the best use for the dollars. So I think we have to balance our needs with the dollars and how we're going to be able to spend them. So I love these priorities. I think they're exactly what we've heard from folks in the community, and I can't wait to hear the additional ideas that people have. So again, please call in, please write in, take the polls, the surveys, and give us some more feedback, because that's really what's going to drive decision makers here at the city.
Right, and as we talk about our local budget, remember our local budget is we spend about $72 million. I'm sorry, $72 million a year, but we only take in about 56 million. I think I'm roughly around the area. How close am I?
Very close. Very close.
Very close. And so we have what we call we spend more than we take in every year because we have our challenges. So understand that we're trying to work where we can generate more revenue over the next few years, and that's where economic development comes into play, creating more job opportunities for people in this community, making sure our home and our homes look better and our neighborhoods look better. We have to make sure we can continue to fight on blight. And we're just not talking about trash on the ground. When we talk about homeowner rehab and repair programs, these programs go forth to be able to assist people, making sure that they can afford to keep up their homes in a good condition. And so we just recently established a program where we gave grants out or loans out, low interest loans, no interest loans, and forgivable loans for homeowner repair. And we want to expand upon that. And that's one of the pillars. We talk about infrastructure repair. We have been undergoing a $167 million infrastructure project as we still work to replace all the lead service lines in our community. But it speaks to those levels of infrastructure. But also we talk about our surface streets, our primary roads, and also our secondary roads inside of residential areas, and also looking at putting traffic controlling mechanisms in our residential areas, that speed control elements. Also bolstering our law enforcement areas, making sure that we can pay affordable and livable wage for the people who are putting their lives at risk for us, and that's the public safety sector. We want to look at ways that we can increase the pays for officers to get skilled, qualified individuals in those areas. And so we want to make sure that we're doing the work to change Flint back into a world-class city, because we have world-class people here. What defines us is how we rise. So please, we want to hear from you. And if we can get the full screen back up again so people can make sure their voices are heard. Take the opportunity and the time. Take our poll at thecityofflint.com. Send or drop off at City of Flint City Hall. Also email input at cityofflint.com. Email to input at cityofflint.com, or call 1-810-237-2000. And we're going to make sure that we put together your ideas for our consumption to make sure that we can put a plan before Congressman Kildee, President Biden, and making sure that we make these dollars transformational. Prayer, planning, and partnership. Shelby, any more before we sign off?
No, thank you. Thanks for having me tonight.
Well, we know this engagement has been short, but this is the first of many. We want to hear from you. So thank you guys for being here with us for this period of time. And thank you all, and God bless. And please continue to be a good neighbor, a good friend, and a good family member. From us to you, God bless you. Thank you. Good night.